I'd been secretly married to the CEO for a year, and nobody at Vance had a clue, until I walked into the wrong conference room and my own department head roasted me in front of half the board. The man at the head of the table spoke up in that calm, cut-glass voice of his. "Forgive the interruption, gentlemen. I asked my wife to drop off a document. God help me, I'd rather have taken the yelling. Before we go any further, smash that subscribe button and tell us where you're tuning in from." I'm late. I shot out of the bedroom, clutching my bag, too rushed to grab the breakfast the housekeeper held out. The man lingering over his coffee at the dining table drawled, "Want a ride?" I froze mid-shoestrap. A cool voice drifted after me, "Perfect attendance bonus, planning to flush it?" I shoved my foot into the sneaker, stood, and bargained, "Just drop me at Riverside. I'll sprint the last 2 blocks." Julian snorted. He scooped his suit jacket off the chair and flicked it over his shoulder as he passed. "I honestly don't get what you're so afraid of." Afraid of? Afraid the entire office will find out I'm married to the CEO, that's what. A full year had slipped by since we'd filed the marriage license. 12 months of tiptoeing through Vance Towers, heart wedged in throat, terrified someone would sniff out the unspeakable tie between Julian and me. Inside the car we sat at opposite windows. He was studying the scenery, not paperwork. Julian claimed words made him carsick. While I rehearsed small talk, he watched pedestrians and river gulls. I broke the hush. "Vance, our year is almost up." About the divorce. I forced it out. He glanced at his watch. "Lawyers are drafting the papers. My assets are messy, you'll have to sit tight a little longer." Understood. I played docile. I could wait. As long as we ended up officially, invisibly divorced, I'd be ecstatic. Relieved, I waved cheerily. "I'll hop out here. Thanks for the lift." Julian squi. Ted at my bright grin, then answered mildly, "See you at the office." I thought that last line was just politesse. Big shot CEO, bottom rung analyst, our paths never crossed. Right? Wrong. Mid-morning our product squad got an instant message, "Meeting relocated." Julian had commandeered our usual conference room for a C-suite huddle. The chat channels blew up, the floor itself stayed pin-drop quiet. Fiona pinged me non-stop. "Fiona, classified intel, wanna know why His Highness switched rooms?" Me, spill. "Fiona, word is the upstairs suite reeked of perfume and he threw a fit." Home and office, equally picky. "Fiona, mainly he's in a foul mood today. Fiona, face like thunder at reception. Tread carefully. I typed, "Roger that." All morning our open plan floor was library quiet. Nobody wandered, nobody slacked. When Julian and the board lurk one glass wall away, survival instincts kick in. 10 sharp, our project review began. Fiona and I wedged ourselves into the back row, present but invisible, the way minions should be. Halfway through, my phone rang. I panicked, stabbed the reject button, and still locked eyes with the speaker, our kindly supervisor. He mouthed, "Take it." The caller rang again. I slipped out the rear exit. Arthur's voice boomed in my ear, "Serena, you and that rascal coming for dinner tonight?" I'd never get used to rascal as a codename for Julian. "I'll have to ask him, skip him. He never picks up." Arthur humphed. "You show, and he'll tail you like a puppy." Dubious. "Grandpa, is something wrong? Your grandmother wants a divorce." This nearly 80 tech mogul poured out his saga. Eleanor had taken to online chess with another senior. Arthur griped about screen strain. She took offense. Cue geriatric Cold War. "I was only worried about her eyesight," he whimpered. I soothed him and promised diplomatic intervention. "Serena, you're my only hope," he sighed. I hung up dizzy, then remembered my meeting. I jogged back and autopilot to the familiar door, yanked it open, empty of colleagues, stuffed with grim-faced execs. Head swiveled. My stomach dropped. I backpedaled, stammering apologies, when my department manager leapt up to distance himself. "Are you brainless? This room's off-limits. Quit blocking the door, some of us have jobs," he barked. "Shut it and beat it." I was halfway out when a low laugh floated across the long table. Julian lifted his gaze to my irate boss. "I asked my wife to deliver something," he said, smoothing a cuff. "Manager, problem?" All color drained from Hugo's face. "And no, sir. No problem." Silence crystallized. Under 50 power stares, my brain screamed, "Julian, you absolute menace, we're filing papers and you still pull this stunt?" The man's composure was bulletproof. While I mentally built a Disney castle with my toes, he stayed placid. "So, the document?" I shuffled forward empty-handed except for my phone. I opened notes, typed "Grandpa wants you for dinner," and flashed the screen. He chuckled, eyes alight. Exactly what I needed. Thanks for making the trip. Save the act for Netflix. Julian pretended to leaf through non-existent pages while the entire leadership catalogued my cheekbones. One message blazed from every iris: so this is Vance. Hugo's face was tragic cinema, regret, horror, dread all competing for real estate. Julian finally returned the phone and, for extra poison, murmured, appreciate it, honey. Every executive ear sharpened. Gossip is oxygen, this time I was the supply. I nudged him, fix this. He glanced sideways. I hissed, low profile, remember? He tapped the table. My wife prefers privacy. I trust everyone here knows what's off limits. A unison of yes, Vance rippled around the room. Heart still jackhammering, I started for the exit. Julian caught my sleeve. Dinner at Arthur's tonight. We go together. Fine, but did he have to look so conspiratorial? We're still in a boardroom. I shot him a death glare and bolted. I jittered until clock out, yet the rumor mill stayed silent. Evidently C-suite lips are sealed with NDAs and terror. In his backseat I exhaled audibly. Julian abandoned the window and studied me instead. Am I that toxic? Being linked with me is social suicide? It's not shame, I stopped. What's the point? Contract's almost up. I clasped my hands. After we sign, please keep the gag order in place. His gaze narrowed. You're in a hurry to divorce me? I blinked. Aren't you? He only snorted. We finished the ride wordlessly, all the way to the Vance family estate. Word of our arrival had carried. Arthur and Eleanor waited at the portico, positioned like rival chess pieces. Anyone could tell they weren't speaking. I flashed Arthur a covert thumbs up, I got this. He nodded like a man throwing me a life preserver. Eleanor cornered Julian to enumerate Arthur's sins. Julian listened, then lifted an eyebrow. You're divorcing Grandpa? He swung toward Arthur and drawled in commiseration, suffering loves company, looks like it runs in the family. The moment those words left her mouth, the room went dead silent. The two old lovebirds who'd been bickering seconds ago instantly lowered their weapons and swung them toward Julian and me. You're getting divorced? Why? Who brought it up? Did this brat do something to hurt Serena? I told you they weren't close, you wouldn't believe me. Humph. The boy clearly doesn't know how to coax his wife. And you're an expert? That stubborn mouth of his didn't come from thin air. Arthur sputtered, then pivoted to Julian. Well? Explain yourself. Why on earth do you want a divorce? Julian looked at me, all innocence. The two grandparents followed his gaze. I jumped under the triple spotlight. This was nothing like the scene I'd scripted. Yes, the divorce had to be confessed, but only after everything was signed and sealed, not while the papers were still blank. Meeting their anxious eyes, I answered sheepishly, so, why are you two divorcing? Arthur shot back first, we're not divorcing, we were just fooling around. Julian echoed instantly, same here, just joking. And with that, universal joy was restored. Everyone acted as if nothing had happened and trooped off to dinner cheerfully. Later Arthur slipped me a sly thumbs up. Granddaughter-in-law, that move was slick. All I could do was chalk it up to a lucky misfire. Julian and I were ordered to stay the night at the Vance family estate. Back at the penthouse we slept in separate rooms, but here protocol demanded we share one. I'd survived a few nights in this bedroom before, so I wasn't too nervous. Julian, apparently, was. When he came out of the bathroom he'd shoved his feet into the wrong slippers. I kindly pointed it out. He insisted, I like them this way. I laughed. Looks like you really did inherit Arthur's stubborn gene. He ignored me for a solid minute, which suited me fine. I cuddled my laptop and answered the new intern's questions. At some point his eyes drifted to my screen, and his tone turned odd. If he knew you were married, I doubt he'd have so many problems. Meaning? Julian lifted his chin. Meaning he's hitting on you. You're kidding. I scrolled through the chat. These are legit work questions. Truly legit questions don't come in bulk. He was acting weird, and the scary part was that, under his spell, the perfectly innocent thread started looking fishy to me too. I ended it fast, it's late. Let's talk at the office tomorrow. The intern replied at lightning speed, got it, thanks sis, I'll bring you heart-shaped breakfast tomorrow. Julian mimicked in a syrupy falsetto, okay, sis, heart-shaped breakfast for you tomorrow. I snapped the laptop shut and rubbed my temples. What is wrong with you? Stubborn mouth syndrome, he declared. Inherited from my grandfather. I had zero intention of talking to him once we were lying in the same bed. Yet tonight he was overcome with the urge to communicate. The pitch black room didn't deter him. If anyone tries to give you gifts, don't take them. Who's giving me gifts? The people in today's meeting. I sat bolt upright. Why would they give me gifts? Brown-nosing, Julian said. My head throbbed. I thought the conference room fiasco was yesterday's news. Apparently it came with aftershocks. Accept gifts? Me? I'm not even a real CEO's wife. I panicked like a cat on a hot roof, while the instigator lay there serene. I couldn't help snapping. Why on earth did you shout like that today? Obvious, he muttered. Hugo trashed you to your face, called you brainless, and I lost it. I groaned. You can't martyr me just because you hate him. It's fine, he murmured, patting the air. I'll order them not to send you anything. Only then did I realize he'd been yanking my chain the entire time. Was watching me squirm really that entertaining? I inhaled, exhaled, then lodged a solemn complaint. You're getting stranger by the minute. Strange how? We agreed to keep things secret. You called me wife in front of the executives. We agreed to divorce, papers and signed, yet you let Arthur and Eleanor talk me out of it. I fumed. Who handles things like this? I'm starting to think you don't want the divorce at all. Julian went quiet for a long beat. Maybe darkness strips away the last masks. His low voice reached my ear. I really don't want it. But we had a deal. I protested, not yet grasping the gravity. 1 year and we file, it's in black and white. You can't go back on your word. He sounded almost reckless. Don't feel like keeping my word. Why not? He leaned closer. The sudden nearness spiked my heart into my throat. His breath brushed my cheek. I could feel his gaze on my lips, and I instinctively wet them. Julian gave a soft laugh. I like you, can't you tell? I very nearly shot back. How on earth was I supposed to tell? But clearly this wasn't the moment. I kept my voice level. You'll spout anything to stop the diver. See? You know I'm not spouting nonsense. Serena, don't dodge the topic of me liking you. Being full-named by my boss, even in bed, felt maddening. I processed for a second, then countered, why would you like me? Wish I knew, Julian said. If only humans could control feelings. I know you don't like me. I know this is a contract marriage. I know you'll leave, yet I still. He enunciated every word. Can't help liking you. My heart clenched. Darkness breeds intimacy. For a moment our arrangement felt anything but clean. To prove my innocence, I flicked on the lamp. Julian was caught off guard, flushed and exposed. Only then did I notice how red he was, face, neck, even the forearms extending from his t-shirt. Against his fair skin it looked like a dusting of rose powder. He quickly hid under the quilt. So calm and collected wasn't as fearless as he pretended. With the lights on he turned timid, almost stammering. Anyway, I'm telling you, I like you. Seeing him flustered was way more entertaining than the aloof CEO of 5 minutes ago. I had started out rattled, learning he was worse off erased my nerves. Fine, like me then, I shrugged. He blinked. That's it? What else? The divorce proceeds on my terms. You liking me doesn't automatically cancel it. After all, you're the one who likes me, not vice versa. Julian exhaled in defeat. Still, he rebounded fast. I'll push the papers through as you wish, but be prepared. He looked dead serious. I'm going to pursue you. A tickle ran through my chest. I turned away so he wouldn't see. Not at the office. Why not? Just, no office courting, period. Okay, he said, wounded. Silence settled. Even with lights blazing and distance between us, the atmosphere felt charged. He likes me. The sentence looped in my head. I finally understood, the clean contract days were gone. So tonight we probably shouldn't share a bed. I was fishing for an excuse when Julian, cheeks still pink, piped up, then if it's your husband doing the chasing, does he get first right of refusal? Now he was claiming the title? I accused, you're milking this. He pressed his lips together. It's a fact, the state says we're married. I'm ignoring you. I climbed out, hugging my pillow. Hey, he grabbed my wrist, contrite. Sorry, won't happen again. Separate rooms, I demanded. Got it. He scooped up his own pillow. At the door he glanced back, anxious. You're not mad, right? Watching him all docile and pleading, I savored a secret thrill. Bossing felt ridiculously good. The next morning Julian produced a heart-shaped breakfast for me too. Heart foam on the latte, heart-shaped fried egg inside the sandwich, even the fruit carved into tiny hearts. Arthur and Eleanor cheered from the sidelines. Julian was up at dawn cooking, looks delicious. Come taste it, sweet granddaughter-in-law. Under their triple stare I choked down every bite. Naturally we drove to Vance together. He ignored the scenery and, evidently bored, started small talk. If that junior, the intern, brings you breakfast, take a picture for me. Why? So I can compare whose is better. I side-eyed him. Are you 5? Apparently not, he answered solemnly. You're the first person ever to accuse me of being 5. Yeah, who else would dare? We reached Riverside. I was about to hop out when he caught my hand and pressed a thermos into it. You had a nasal rasp this morning. Drink, Eleanor swears one sip works. I stared, unmoving. He kept holding it out, muttering, commute doesn't count as office pursuit, right? Slowly I accepted. Thanks. He said, wrecking my swirling emotions with, don't forget the intern breakfast photo. Childish CEO indeed. What I didn't expect was that the juvenile antics were only getting started. I was in the middle of work when Julian pinged me, breakfast, breakfast. Of course the heart-shaped breakfast had arrived. But thanks to Julian hammering the point home, even if the intern had deli Darrad truffled eggs and caviar, I wouldn't have tasted a bite. Fiona at the next pod hadn't eaten, so the bento had already disappeared into her stomach. Me, brushing him off, are you 5? Julian, breakfast, breakfast. I lost my patience, didn't eat. Happy? Julian, thanks. Suddenly feels like meetings are fun. His kindergarten mode lasted until clock out. He was oddly disciplined, texting in advance, I'm at Riverside. Waiting. He hadn't picked me up often, the car was way too conspicuous and I was always dodging gossip. When our arrangement had been perfectly platonic I'd shunned attention, now that we were awkwardly something else, avoiding it was even more critical. So I shot back, overtime shift. Don't wait. No reply, I figured he'd left. I killed another 20 minutes, then headed out once the floor was mostly empty. Ran straight into my own supervisor, also working late. Caleb's gentle smile hadn't moved. Off the clock? Yeah. How's the intern working out? Kid seems eager, getting overwhelmed? He's fine. Work talk, work answers, until Caleb glanced at his watch. Pretty late. Let me buy you dinner? I hesitated, confused. He added, no pressure. After hours I'm not your boss, say no if you want. I opened my mouth to decline when he kept going. Could you give me a chance? A quiet hope flickered in his eyes. Truth is, I really like you. I froze, because of the words, and because Julian materialized right behind him, face like a storm, timing and eavesdropped quantity unknown. Caleb followed my stare and spotted Julian too. His back straightened, smile gone. Vance. Julian stepped forward, expression arctic, flicked a glance at me, then locked on Caleb. Where are you two headed for dinner? I'm going that way, happy to drive. We hadn't even named a place, that way didn't exist. But Caleb's brain had blue-screened, he only managed, haven't decided. Don't trouble yourself, sir. Julian gave a thin laugh. No trouble. The air itself winced. Afraid Julian would say something worse, I jumped in, supervisor, I just remembered, urgent thing. Gotta run. Oh. Caleb sounded dazed. Another day, then. Under Julian's laser stare I sprinted out the revolving door. 2 minutes later his sedan glided beside me, matching my pace. I refused to board, he refused to leave. After checking for coworkers I climbed in, stone-faced. Julian's face was colder, so he's allowed to hit on you at work? I didn't let him. He was asking you to dinner. Julian was actually counting sins. The reason I can't chase you at the office is so you can keep a husband at home and a flag on the side? You're insane. Oh, so Caleb's the understanding, gentle, generous type? I rolled my eyes and sentenced him to silent treatment for the rest of the night. Back at the penthouse we defaulted to Cold War. Luckily the place was big enough that we didn't have to stare each other down. I gamed, binged shows, did my 10-step skincare, busy until 10. A message dinged, from the CEO's office. Subject, policy on inter-office within the same product. I gaped, scrolled, marched to Julian's door clutching the phone, no knock. You might as well list mine and Caleb's social security numbers. Julian spun around, startled, clutching a towel to his hips. My fury avalanched. Why are you naked? Ears scarlet, he tied the towel with maddening calm. Just showered. Still, I screamed internally. The guy must be part shrimp, every inch of skin was pink. My gaze slid over the unavoidable abs and forgot its original mission. He adjusted the knot. What social security numbers? What is this memo? For Vance's bright future, he intoned. If everyone flirts like Caleb, how will anything ship? I snorted. And dating me wouldn't slow production? I'm special, he deadpanned. My romance boosts stock prices. Nobody's dating you. I had to remind him. 10 days and the contract's over, we're signing divorce papers. Julian stopped. He walked closer, L precarious, shoulders, arms, even ankles flushed. The visual assault was lethal. Before he closed the gap I stammered, Stay there. Talk from that spot. He halted 1 arm length away. Heat radiated off him, my cheeks burned though I stared at the ceiling. His cool, textured voice dropped, Why do we have to divorce? I didn't have an answer. In my head we were a 1-year merger. Deadline equals divorce. So for 12 months I never let myself want him, even if every box on the Prince Charming checklist had his name. When coworkers daydreamed aloud, imagine dating Julian I never joined the chorus. CEO and junior analyst? No matter the ending, the employee always eats the risk. I loved my job, I wasn't gambling it away. A year of secret marriage, paperwork hidden, nerves frayed, I thought I could walk away spotless. Now he decides he feels something, and my stubborn heart is wobbling. Honestly, I had zero clue what to do. I was still awake at 3 a.m. Next morning I trottled in with luggage-grade shadows. Half the floor looked the same, only their insomnia was gossip-fueled. Fiona cornered me first, You missed the late-night group chat carnage. Bets on which team triggered the CEO's memo. I slid a guilty glance toward Caleb. Any verdicts? Hold up, first, remember Baldy from Sales Hugo fired? Turns out he was sexting interns at AM and attaching pics of little Hugo. I recoiled. Word is, tiny evidence. I barked a laugh. Oh, and marketing's pretty boy? 3 coworkers on the hook. Ugh. My face twisted further. She spilled tea until noon, I clucked in amazement. By the end I almost felt our hidden marriage was quaint. At lunch Julian exited the conference room opposite us. Fiona whispered, Anyone else seeing Julian everywhere lately? Another colleague nodded, He's booking meetings on our floor, ghosting the executive suite. Why? Dunno. Fiona scanned the cubicles, What's so magnetic up here? I shrank. The man's gravity was inescapable, daily sight-in. GS, non-stop buzz, enough to crack my resolve. Under extreme pressure I fed Fiona a sliver of truth, so I've got this friend. Her eyes ignited, do tell. She contract married her husband, 1-year clause. Now hubby says he's into her and she's stuck. Height, hotness, net worth? I weighed, then nodded thrice. Lock that down, Fiona declared. Meat on the fork, eat it. They're coworkers. If it implodes, you haven't even ordered appetizers and you're budgeting heartbreak? Who gets married to get divorced? I murmured, she did. Fiona paused. Sounds like she already likes him. Otherwise she'd just sign the papers and bounce, right? She studied me, make sense? I stared at my shoes. Maybe. I spent the afternoon dissecting my feelings, and got nowhere. Before I could finish, Julian paged me upstairs during break and handed me a folder. Divorce papers. Legal drafted a first pass. Check for red lines, he said. My gut response was no. Only then did I realize I didn't want to let go. But his tone was pure glacier, I couldn't force the words out. I hugged the file to my chest, compromising, I'll review later, not urgent, right? No rush. He watched me leave, then added, I'll talk to Arthur and Eleanor. If you want out, don't carry guilt. Okay. My back pressed to the door, I met his gaze. Thank you, for covering my grandma's hospital bills back then. The medical bills are already written into the contract, no need to thank me, Julian said. If I hadn't married you, I couldn't have inherited the family business so smoothly. Right. That was the reason we'd agreed to this marriage in the first place. Nothing to do with love, just mutual benefit. Now that the marriage was finally ending, I could barely read the expression on Julian's face. He smiled and said, Serena, marrying you made me really happy. I sealed the divorce papers inside my office drawer. Afterward, I kept cursing under my breath. What happened to I like you? What happened to I'm going to chase you? In the end, he still shoved the divorce papers at me without the slightest hesitation. I sulked, thinking, so this is the grand CEO's idea of like. I cursed, and at the same time I felt relieved. Relieved that I'd never revealed my own feelings. Relieved I wouldn't end up losing both love and money. Relieved that this marriage would still end as quietly as it had begun, exactly as I'd first expected. Fiona suddenly pinched my cheek. What are you thinking? You look ready to murder someone. Thinking about a jerk. She grinned. Presentation time. Grab your laptop, let's go. I pulled myself together, hugged my computer, and walked into the conference room. Our team's turn was coming up, and I was the main presenter. I'd prepared for ages. So I was sure that, no matter how big a jerk Julian was, he couldn't shake my focus. And I was right. The presentation wrapped up perfectly. During the break, I slipped out to the restroom. When I came back, the sky had fallen. Every colleague sat transfixed, staring at the giant screen, my chat window glowing for all to see. Only then did I remember, my laptop was still screen sharing. The frantic texter was Julian. Babe, don't sign it. I messed up. Please don't divorce me. I was testing you, I never meant to split. I faked it, I actually care so much it hurts. You didn't see my face when you walked away. Babe, I'm begging you. Come upstairs and I'll kneel, okay? I'll kneel and beg. I don't want a divorce. I won't bother you at work again, whatever you want, you get. Keep a red flag flying at home and a rainbow at the office, I don't care. Babe, answer me, please. I stared at the typing indicator dots above the bubbles and almost blacked out. Under everyone's gaze, I rushed forward and slammed the laptop shut. The room was as silent as a morgue. Heads drooped, eyes sneaking glances, but no one dared look straight at me. I forced calm and walked up to Caleb. Supervisor, may I take the afternoon off? Why yes, he stammered. Take as long as you need. Whatever you want. I thanked him and fled, computer clutched to my chest. Nowhere else to go, I went home. Deflated. It felt like I'd ruined everything, marriage over, career on the rocks. No prizes for guessing how the office group chat was exploding. With Fiona's tea-spilling habits, she was probably speed-sharing fresh screenshots in every thread. I didn't dare check my phone. I hugged a throw pillow and curled up on the sofa, ready to die of public humiliation. The next second, Julian burst through the door. He'd rushed back, his hair was ruffled, sweat dotted his forehead, even his usually perfect shirt and slacks were creased. Seeing me, he exhaled in relief. Then, voice low and hoarse, he apologized. Sorry, babe. I didn't know you were mid-presentation. Doesn't matter, I said, past caring. It's already happened. Julian stepped closer. He hesitated a heartbeat, then simply knelt in front of me. That pause made me suspect he'd almost gone for full-on kneel. I can fix this, he said. I'll order the whole company to shut up about it, I cut him off. Don't. They just like spilling tea, they didn't do anything wrong. At worst, I was today's main tea flavor. He went quiet. You're scaring me a little. He leaned in. Hit me if you want. I can't stand seeing you like this, and I can't let myself off either. I pushed him away and muttered, let's talk divorce. This time Julian actually knelt. I don't want a divorce. The man in that office was dead, only the words on WhatsApp were real. I didn't want to play hard to get, and I never wanted to see him wave papers at me again. So I asked, seriously, how long can you keep loving me? Julian blinked, startled. Then, just as seriously, he answered, I can't swear love is eternal, but I know I'm a one-woman man. I'll love you, keep loving you, until the end. I opened my arms. Then love me forever. Julian hugged me, tight. I will. The marriage was safe for now, but the career hurdle remained. Not until 11 that night did I dare pick up my phone. 0 notifications. If I weren't the starring Melon myself, I'd suspect the carrier had cut my signal. I texted Fiona, include me in the tea. Fiona hesitated, you sure you want to sip your own tea? I typed, self-serve tea tastes sweeter. After a pause, she flooded me with screenshots. Fiona, respects, Madam CEO. Your humble servant presents hand-picked chat records for review. I opened 2, then rubbed my temples. So everyone knows Serena is Vance. Conference room, screen share, babe please don't divorce me, crying emoji, key point, he offered to kneel. Never knew the CEO was like this in private. Serena just raised the bar for all women. Now the earlier rumor makes sense, supervisor was chasing her. RIP supervisor. Prayers. Eyewitness, Caleb's face went white and his voice shook. Hugo suddenly transferred, Serena connection? Apparently she walked into the wrong meeting. Hugo called her an idiot in public, then Vance said, that's my wife, any problem, manager? Karma LOL CEO is so hot I'm depleted. OMG Serena's living the dream, why divorce? Waiting for divorce backstory. More tea? I'll steep all night. CEO couple gossip hits different. I had to admit, it was explosive. Yet perhaps because Julian and I were solid now, or because the logs weren't as vicious as I'd feared, I actually felt lighter. Fiona pinged again, whole chat is praying you two stay together. Why? Fiona, terrified if CEO's heart breaks, mass layoffs follow. What happened? Words apparently weren't enough, so I added, Julian and I made up. Fiona, madam, you've saved our humble hides. Ever the gossip queen, Fiona finally turned on me, did he really kneel? On the ground, begging no divorce? I typed at lightning speed, bedtime. Just before sleep, Julian tapped my door. Babe, can I sleep with you tonight? I hesitated. I'm not ready. I swear I'll behave, Julian whispered, ear. Read. I just want to be with you, doesn't matter what we do. I let him in. He lay on my bed looking more docile than I'd ever seen him, even at the estate. Only then did it hit me, he was co-star of today's public humiliation drama. Want to see? I asked. The screenshots, they trash your image pretty bad. I don't care how the world sees me. Only how you do. I blinked, sweetness fluttering in my chest. Work tomorrow? He asked. Or take some time off? I'll go in, I said, inhaling. If the guy who brought his mistress and wife to the same office still shows up, my drama's nothing. Julian laughed. Who's that? Not telling. No names, but I could share the tale. We traded company gossip late into the night. Julian exclaimed, this place is a soap opera. I smiled at him. Only then did I realize how close we were, closer than ever before. He held my gaze, cupped the back of my head, and leaned in to kiss me. Lips and tongues, breath mingling. When he pulled away, I could still feel the graze of his tongue on the corner of my mouth. Wanted to kiss you like that, he said, since the night I confessed. Truth is, I kinda wanted it too. Your lips were so red, I wondered how they'd taste. Julian leaned closer, voice low and teasing. Still red? Still curious? I couldn't push him away, he pinned me and kissed me senseless again. Thanks to clingy Julian, bedtime stretched forever. I woke the next morning almost at my usual departure time. I shot the man lounging in my doorway a glare. Why didn't you wake me? It's your fault. Ride with me. Before I could answer, he added, we won't stop at Riverside. Let's walk into Vance together. Only then did I understand his plan. Hugging the blanket, I asked, if we're late, will they dock your perfect attendance bonus? Julian waved a hand. Dock away. Smiling, I let him pull me up, and we strolled off on our magical commute. Thanks for listening to today's story. If you liked this video, please like and share it with Friday. Ends. We look forward to reading your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more great stories. See you next time.